Hello and welcome to the one team we agree on, which is unfortunately not the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle.
And what are we talking about today, Kyle?
Well, on today's show, we are going to first remind you all that to come check out our last episode where we interviewed Stu Finley. And that was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
So, again, Stu, if you're listening, thank you very much. Fortunately, I didn't see you played today.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would.
Yeah.
Um, that's a bummer.
Yeah. But anyway, this is a Union podcast. So, just some things today. We're catching up. We've
Mhm.
had a string of recent interviews and want to kind of get back and just talk about some Union news. So, today's show, we're going to discuss the recent Union transfers. We're going to catch up a little bit on some preseason matches,
Mhm.
talk about the MLS Season Pass,
Yep.
and a few more snippets of information. So before we get started, what are you wearing today?
Well, I broke protocol a little bit because I usually wear something Union, but today is the 5-year anniversary of 41-33. Eagles win the Super Bowl over Tom Brady and the Patriots, Philly special and all the magic that came with that day. So I am wearing my Eagles Super Bowl champions from Super Bowl 52 shirt.
Well, I mean, that it was a very special day. We had a lot of fun that night. It
Mm-hmm.
was a fun day. And I'm wearing the Philadelphia Union baseball jersey that they had this year. Um, I really like this. It's really comfortable. So, but before we get started, make sure to check us out on social media. We are at the TOTWAG. That's the one team we agree on. And you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the one team we agree on, all one word, which I got to do a better job at managing that. Um, but anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some of the Union's recent additions. So in the off season, Ernst had said that he wanted to sign a midfielder, a center back, and an attacking player. And with the transfer window closed, the Union did go ahead and do that. First sign we're going to talk about is Joaquin Torres. Union got him on a transfer from Montreal. The deal is 250,000 split over the 23 and 24 season, and Montreal could receive another 300K if conditions are met. Uh, he is an international from Argentina, so he'll take up an international spot. Um, and he had in 55 appearances, 7 goals, 12 assists in Montreal. Can play multiple attacking positions. I found this interesting. So they were asking Jim about like what they thought about Joaquin, and Jim just immediately got this big smile on his face and started going into like Union, a former Union player, Roger Torres, and he brought up Luciano Costa, which, I mean, if he even gets that level of Luciano, I mean, man, we really, 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 this might be one of his, like, this might be better than Carranza, but in that sense. But, you know, one of the things he did bring up interesting was, he brought up Elsinho.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, they got rid of Jamiro last year, and we were really missing
Mm-hmm.
that 1v1 guy that could beat players off the
Yeah.
ball. Um, so, I think the biggest thing is when I was looking at him was, he's a talented creator. And I've seen some people from other teams even say, he was really from a really good attacking team that Montreal was last year. Defensively, they were not good, but attacking, they were
Mhm.
very good. He was probably one of their better playmakers, top three outside of Jordy, who left and went overseas. So, and your personal favorite, he has Pokemon tattoos.
I know. I saw that on Twitter. I was like, oh, Pokemon tattoos.
So, what are your thoughts on?
I think this was a good pickup, honestly. Like these moves, the fact that we went and got guys in the MLS, I was kind of surprised, that we went and did that. But I'll tell you what, if things work out as well as it did with Julian Carranza, and especially, we go and get guys from Florida and worked out well with that. I like what I've seen in clips from Torres so far. So I think he'll be good on the one-on-one.
The thing I like about him is he's a really good creator. So you think about him sending balls, up into our forwards, in the
Mm-hmm.
box. He creates space. He can beat people off the dribble, which again we were missing last year. Um, I think that's the biggest thing. I think plus he can play multiple attacking positions. He's
Mm-hmm.
played the 9 apparently. He's played 10. He can play wing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So he can play all the attacking positions, but it gives us just another piece. Like I said, we
Mm-hmm.
got 55 games.
Right, with all those
We
games.
with all those games. So, and then we went out and made another deal with Inter Miami and got Damian Lowe from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
That deal was a $225,000 in GAM in 2023 and a 2024 natural first round pick as part of the agreement. And then there's a homegrown deal in there, which everybody's probably heard about already, that we get a future percentage if that player gets sold.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good business deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Jamaican national player with 50 caps, 20,
Yes.
28 appearances for Miami in 22, 1 goal, 1 assist. Um, when you look at this guy, he's been a USL player, played
Mm-hmm.
overseas, as Jim says, won some trophies overseas, 50 caps at Jamaican team, I forget who it was. He had a big game where he scored 2 goals against
Mm-hmm.
somebody in an international play. And he's a second, I guess they call it vice captain to Andre Blake. So he brings
Mm-hmm.
leadership to the Union. And again, I think for me personally, when you look at him, Miami's defense was
Mm-hmm.
awful last
Yeah.
year. He is a player that when you look at his advanced metrics, which I do, he ranks very highly. And if you watch some of his highlights, very good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one of those, I almost would say he's one of those Jim Curtin center backs,
Mm-hmm.
just very defensive mind, but can do some other stuff. But defense number one. And I feel like that's kind of the mold that Jim wants to do. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think a change of scenery might be really good for him. In fact, that he's going to be surrounded by very good defense. I mean, a guy like that can only be elevated by guys like, Jack and Jacob and Ty and those guys being, back there.
Right. And I think so. They're all going to do that. And then I think he's another guy that Brendan Craig can learn from.
Yep.
And he's probably going to get some playing time this year as well.
Plus, we got another reggae boy.
We did get a
Yes.
reggae boy.
Yeah.
That is
Another.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, and so I think there's going to be that just enhances that spine, which, as we always
Mm-hmm.
say, is probably one of the most important, if not the most important thing. You have to have an elite spine to be successful in soccer overall.
Yes.
So I love this move. Maybe, and that brings me to the next thing. I asked Twitter last night. I said, which one of the 3 players, Pereira, Torres, or Lowe, is your favorite? And it was interesting. I mean, Lowe gets 7%, which actually I thought people would be like, who? Because I saw a couple of those people like, what? We get that, and it's and then I saw 41% said Pereira, and then 52% said Torres.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but for me, I think my favorite of the 3, it's a really kind of a toss up because we haven't seen him in action because of
Yeah.
the blogging.
Yeah.
I kind of split between Torres and Pereira. I
Mm-hmm.
think Torres is a guy that can push all the midfield, gives us really good midfield depth, can play defensively, can play out on the corners of the diamond. He can play in the middle. He's played all over. He's even played the 10. In
Yeah.
fact, when he scored the 1 goal, he was playing 10 that game
Hmm.
for Orlando. So he can play all throughout the midfield. And Jimmy even said that it's just multiple things. Plus, he's really just, I don't know. I think he really is going to elevate that midfield and push everybody to be better. And I saw somebody, I forget who it was, mentioned that, and I agree 100%. I would say overall, all 3 of them I love, but probably Torres just because I think it's that 1v1.
Mm-hmm. On your poll, I voted for Perea, but I'm kind of torn there too.
Why'd you vote for Perea?
I don't know. I like what I saw from him. I'll be the first to admit I don't know all the metrics and all the stats like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Just from watching like what I saw, I was like, oh, I think he'll fit in well, especially with all the games that we have. He's really good, solid, player to have in there. But yeah, I was kind of torn though. So
No, I think the overall arcing theme here is we made three good moves.
we really did.
We really did, and that brings me to my next point. We talk about all these games. Will we see? What do you think? Do we see different formations this year?
I mean, I kind of think that we are.
Or is Jim gonna be just he loves the dime.
Well,
We're gonna stick with the
I
dime,
mean, there's the whole like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
right?
But also our other team's gonna like, you know, catch on to what our other team's gonna be able to counter us,
And he said that
better,
teams have learned that dime stuff. I think you're gonna see some different. I mean, think about it. You could put you know Torres on a wing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Mikel Ua. I didn't know this. I was telling somebody, and they said Ua played wing at times at Brøndby. So
Mm.
you could do wing combinations. You could go. I think even Jim said recently you could go like a 3-4-4 kind of combination. Or it was like a 3-4-1-2 or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
something like to that position. You could do a three center back with the three center backs. Now
Mm-hmm.
we have, and then have some wing backs, Kai and probably and Mbaizo. I'm sure Jim's going to be playing with that. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
one that, if anything,
Yeah.
he's going to be playing with that because, of course, Pat did that at Cincinnati this year and had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're going to get the defensive and offensive flexibility with
Mm-hmm.
these moves.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what we do. I think that's going to be the fun point to watch. Like, how do we make in-game substitutions? How do we make formation switches coming off the
Mm-hmm.
subs? I'm curious to see how that goes. And then with all these incoming players, we did have to say goodbye to a player.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Freeze did
Yep.
unfortunately
Go
depart.
to
Yeah, that
anywhere but there.
yes.
That's what
Uh,
that was my reaction. But
yeah. Um, Matt Freeze to NYCFC. The Union received 200K in 2023 and 150K in 2024, and then another additional 400K per person.
mm-hmm.
Things are met, which is probably going to be starts,
Mm-hmm.
clean sheets, wins. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there knows kind of what are in
Mm-hmm.
those kind of contracts. I'm curious to know. And then, for me, I think it hurts our goalkeeping depth, especially, God forbid something happens to Andre.
Right. I
Joe
mean, Bendick's good,
Bendick's a very average
but
goalkeeper.
yeah.
He is an MLS average keeper. I mean, yeah,
Right.
for a game or two, okay, I'll roll with it. Holden Trent,
Mm-hmm.
where's he at? Because there was rumors they were trying to go after and get another goalkeeper after they sold Freeze. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to get somebody. So where are they at? He's still
Yeah.
developing.
I mean, Bendick looked real good against Pachuca when we
He
went to
did,
that game and watched him.
and that's a credit to Phil. So
But yeah.
I mean, I think that and forwards are the only real weak spots right now. We could probably use another keeper, another
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy for Matt Freeze. He gets opportunity. It's tough. He's, not gonna be able to advance behind, Andre Blake, but anywhere but there. But I mean, I wish him all the best, except when we play him, I hope we light him up when we play him.
I like
Sorry.
that.
Sorry,
My
dude.
question is, did you see he made this sort of like, oh my gosh, I
A
love
really
Philly,
nice
and then
post and
he next way
everything.
he's like, what did he say?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this city's buzzing. I can't wait to get with this group and go chase some trophies.
And then the Union fans were
We're
all like,
like,
WTF. Okay. Yeah.
so that brings me to my next question. Do we say sucks when they introduce him?
Great question. I would say if he was on any other team, but NYC, you know, he might get it. Maybe not as sucks, but
Oh
I
no.
don't know. I mean, like when we there was a lot of people when we were playing, other teams. Oh, they didn't say sucks about Medunian, for instance. We say sucks for like certain players, but a lot of people didn't say sucks for Casper, but then there was a lot of people that still did too.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a mixed bag, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, would you say sucks for Corey Burke? I honestly, I can't.
It's Red Bulls.
I know it's
Though.
Red Bulls.
I know, but
let's put it this way. I would probably
for
still stand there.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely saying sucks.
Yeah.
Just because
I'm sorry, because that post, if there wasn't that post, I probably might have not said it, but that post kind of, yeah, like, oh, come on, too soon. But
soon.
that being said, yeah, I will be in the river end with my back to it with, the double bird and doing our thing.
So with the window closed, are you happy, Kai, Jose?
I am so happy. I love
Jacob
Kai
are all
and
here.
Jacob and Jose. Like, seriously, those guys, especially Kai. Okay.
Do you think they extend Kai?
I mean, I could see Kai, maybe going eventually, but man, I love Kai. Ich liebe Kai. What can I say?
We got at least keep him under contract so we don't lose him on free transfer. That would stink.
Yeah, I mean, if we lose him, I want it to be worth it.
I think this was a good window for what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, we could probably use another keeper. We could probably use another forward, but there's still the windows are still open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, certain windows out there, I don't know if you know this or don't close. It's not just a European window. There's other windows that are still open, some open at weird times. Plus, there's still free agents out there. So we'll see. We'll see if we make any other moves. But on to our next topic. The MLS season package is out now on Apple TV.
Yes.
The signing up process was very confusing. When we got the email, it was like, okay, you have to have a shared family plan.
So, well, I already had an Apple TV Plus account, but it was my sister's like family sharing thing. So I had to kind of like get out of that because we had shared that account, and so set up a new one. And then once we did that, got Kyle on it, and then it was actually setting it up was really easy.
Yeah, once we got that, but like for people, and what I'm getting is people that have Androids and other things,
we already have like Apple IDs and everything.
That can be kind of. I just think they kind of dropped the ball on that. Like it wasn't streamlined. It was like, again, we didn't really know a whole lot of details until like the 12th hour, I felt like, with this whole thing.
Yeah. That being said, as soon as I was at school, on my lunch break, and just as soon as I got that email from you with the code, I was like, oh, I'm gonna activate that. I go on, and I spent my entire lunch break just watching stuff on there. Yeah. And I think, it's very sleek. The video quality is fantastic. The games that we had to watch, online last year were grainy and, it wasn't ideal. So watching this was really good. And we're not in the area that we could have watched it on, like PHL 17. We don't get that channel. No. So it was either, on the computer or on like YouTube, like on our computer, streaming it on there.
So that will be nice. Yeah, I mean, and some of these documentaries, just getting to learn about the clubs like the Ritual, Club Legends, profiles, player profiles, etc.
Are we going to discuss the Club Legends?
We'll get to that in a second. I do want to talk about a couple other things first. So apparently, and I didn't know this. I heard rumblings, and I think it was Glenn, Brooks or something, out of like, I think he's with New York, tweeted out like, there are certain parameters that each club has to like release so much data via MLS, or they get fined each week. Because I forget who it was. Somebody did not have a lot of content when it first came out, and they're like, well, they're probably going to end up getting fined. So that's good to see that MLS is mandating it. Although the drawback is some clubs really aren't set up yet.
Yeah.
So that goes back to they probably threw this on them, and they're like, whoa, we didn't know about this, and now you're going to get fined. But again, I think content is good. It's just going to take some time. And they announced some more announcers. And we get to see Danny.
Yes, very happy about that.
I'm very happy about that, and I'm very happy that they're going to have regionalized announcers.
Yes,
I think that's great. But I mean, and to their credit, they got some really big names, some really good local announcers. Some of them fell through the wayside. They can do the options. Certain clubs can do homegrown radio, which
Mm-hmm.
is like you can, if you don't like the announcers, you can turn on like an, I think
Right.
it's switching and
You
just
can
listen
sync.
to the
Yeah, you can
and
sync the.
syncs to that. So that will be cool to watch. Like if it's Dave Leno and whoever, because
Yeah.
Sebastian won't be there. I don't know who they're going to use, but again, I like some of this stuff. Uh, you know, and also 40% of the games, which kind of fell by the wayside, also are free.
Mm-hmm.
There is free content on there, so people,
Right.
will still be able to see MLS if they have Apple TV. So we'll see how this all plays out. I but getting back to your point on the club legends and all that, one thing I want to say, what do you think of the Union content? Because this has been a discussion
Okay, so
compared to other
well, here's the
teams.
thing. When I first looked, I only looked at our stuff at first, and I was like, okay, okay, this is good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's good.
And then I heard about, oh, what's on some of the other team stuff. And I was like, oh, I mean, I'm not saying what we have out is bad, but it could have been more. Um, and considering how awesome our social media people are, like
Yes.
all the content that we've gotten, how good it's been, I was just a little surprised.
Yeah, I am.
It just felt a little phoned in. I don't know, a little
Yes,
bit.
yes. As Billy had said, it did, and I agree.
Yeah.
It's we can do better. I feel, and
And I
that's
think
not.
and I think they will.
I mean, like instead for the ritual, they should have talked
Mhm.
about the Sons of Ben. Like you saw the
Yeah.
documentary, they should have talked about that. Talked about the river and like remember the whole story with David Beckham first time played. It's like I think it was like the getting like more intimidating he's ever been because of just the stomping and all the stuff from the river and where we walk
Hmm.
out. Like talk about that kind of stuff. Talk about the MLS Cup takeover. Like
Yeah.
just talk about how that club was formed rather than oh, we're here. This is our ritual. We bang a drum, which I'm not knocking on. It's a cool little
But we
pregame,
just started doing that.
but we yeah, exactly.
And that
It's
wasn't
not a
organic.
ritual.
Like, yeah, like and I forget who said it, but so sorry about that. But the whole like, yeah, I should have talked more about Doop and how that was more organic,
Yes,
and some of those rituals, and things that we do with Sons with Ben and our supporter groups. So
but overall, again, I mean, it's good content. It's union
mhm,
content. I mean, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, like San Jose did one about like you should watch San Jose's because you like punk, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, watch theirs. I forget the guy's name, and I should know it too. But talks about they did a song, and yeah, it's like right, like the song is right up your alley. But it's like they're like how that was formed, and
Hmm.
there's just some really good stuff out there.
And I'm pretty excited just the fact that there's no blackouts because where we are in Lancaster, it's like, depending on where we are, stuff would be blacked out. Like when I'm, over in York, coaching, that's where I had to see, Glessness's banger, by the way, on my
Mm-hmm.
phone. But I was just barely I swear, the pool that we coach at is like right on the cusp of where the um area was for viewing. But there were times where I couldn't, access it in any way.
Right,
There's been
right,
times where it's like, oh, I've actually had conflicting things where it'd be like, oh, you're within the viewing area, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, no, this is blacked out. So it was like, are you kidding me? That actually
right.
happened to me when I was staying in like New Jersey, like in Deptford.
Huh.
I was at a meet, yeah, at GCIT. Yeah. And I was at the hotel and actually I could not access it. Could you believe it? I was way closer to Philly. That was
I saw
weird.
some of those things though before though too. Like people be like, I'm in Center City, Philly, and I can't like access the Union.
Remember, I think it was is it Orlando? I forget what game that was, but they're playing one of the Florida teams. Yeah, and I could not like I
That's
did get
weird.
it somehow. I forget how I got on it. But anyway.
So
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about the legends?
Yeah.
So what about?
Okay, so I mean obviously Latu,
Yeah.
and a bunch of those guys on there, but like I was just surprised to see, as I think a lot of people were,
Oh, I know where you're going with it. Okay, go ahead.
Brendan Aronson.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, we love Brendan Aronson. He's great. It's
Right.
great he's playing, in the Premier League and, he's on the national team and all that and stuff. But would you call him a legend yet?
No, because he's probably like the most recognizable because you
Yeah.
what his
He's
story is, and
he's
some of
been one
the
of the biggest names,
yeah,
like
so I
to
mean, that's what I
be
mean. Like
successful.
in recent
Like,
memory,
yeah.
like to leave the club and go big. But yes, and Jesus, like Latu, and they'll even tell you other players from like the old time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. Like just recently, just like hearing some of these pods where a lot of these people are talking about all these old timers. It's just like I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm like
Uh-huh.
checking my notes and stuff because like it's cool to catch up all these and but like there's other players I feel that were more
Yeah.
deserving, had worn worn
Right.
and played for Union
Like, not
longer.
knocking him at all, but I just
No,
feel like there's actually probably players that even, deserve to be included in there, that
correct,
did,
correct.
had more of an impact.
So now let's moving on here. So Union played, we'll catch up on a couple preseasons. I mean, they had two draws, what they have? They had a 2-2 draw against St. Louis, and then they had and then they drew 2-2 with Minnesota.
And the live blog.
Like with
It's so
the why
anticlimactic.
can't we?
In
And I've
2023,
heard
how are we
several
not?
people say this. Why were they not using this technology to get the bugs out for regular season matches? They should have Apple down there. Now I get it. Some clubs want that.
They don't want to give away stuff, I
Yeah,
get
but
that.
still,
But at least could it be a functioning, at least if they're going to do that, have it updating like more in real time? Because,
you would think
reload. That's really
you'd think the
annoying.
social media team of the year,
Yeah, guys, stop what you're
I
doing.
don't know. I mean, it's not really social media; it's more of
Just like,
digital.
for goodness sakes, you could probably tweet faster, like that than updating the
Yeah,
club.
I just go back to, I would love to see Apple use that time to really maybe and it doesn't have to be every team because like you said, some teams there. But then when you
Mm-hmm.
see like LAFC and New York say, oh, we will not due to clubs not wanting information to be leaked, we will not be covering today's game.
Like, at least we got
We'll
something.
have a recap
Yeah.
at the end. Like,
Lame.
come on.
That's
You
really
guys are
lame.
like pushing to
Sorry.
be a top 10 league in the world, and you're just going to have, oh, yeah, we're not going to like give our fans access or
Yeah.
people that follow the league.
They had even less than us. So,
Yeah, I mean,
lame.
that is lame. But again, I think you could do a lot more
Not for
with this
sure.
Apple thing. And like you said, like I said, it would be great to see people that can get the bugs out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even have some announcers that you're going to cover those teams so they get exposed to maybe
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. I mean, there's just some things are missing. Now I know they're just starting the teams, but
Yeah.
maybe next year at this time have those announcers go with those teams so they can spend time, understand the culture.
Like, you think about how there's always so much to do about spring training for baseball,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's fun seeing, all, the younger guys, the rookies and all these guys getting a chance to, you know, make appearances and see what these guys can do,
I mean,
and
for
like that's fun. And they feature and they do little features and things, and oh, they have alumni back and
yeah.
they talk about like, spring training for baseball. Why can't they do this, kind of like
And
that?
it would for like the person just watching the game
Yeah.
and maybe isn't like a die-hard person, like why
Mm-hmm.
should I care about the union? Oh wow, this is pretty cool, like I'm learning about the team.
I'd love to see some of these like
Right.
other guys that aren't our starts. I'd like to see what they can do because honestly, we don't always get to see them.
I mean, can we talk about the St. Louis game? I mean, Gino Portela scored a goal. I mean,
Yeah, and yes,
the myth, the
I know.
legend,
He
the
made
guy
not
that
only
like
made an
just
appearance, he scored.
he appeared out of thin air,
Yeah.
scores a goal. I mean, we didn't get to see that live. I mean, now I will say something about the Minnesota game. There was a video of that goal from Julian with that buildup,
Yeah.
where it was Gazdag coming down, hits Ua, crosses in, hits it, and you're just listening and you hear Julian yelling, Mikel, and you're just hearing that
Mm-hmm.
combination and just
Yeah.
seeing that. I'm like, I love seeing that. I wish that was there last year at this time to
Oh, the what
see.
ifs if Ua had been in, earlier.
I think it was Renee and I were talking about that. It was like I always
Do you
wondered,
think we
like,
would have won at least one more game? Got
Oh yeah,
I think
I think we would
that
have
would
had
have put
80
us.
goals.
I mean, basically that happens. We get more goals. We take the shield and we host the cup, and then maybe win the cup. Then
Shoulda, coulda,
shoulda,
woulda.
coulda, woulda, and it
And
is what
this
it
is the
is.
2023 season, so
In some, part of the multiverse, yes.
yeah. But they got a game tomorrow against New England, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think it's next. They got like 3 or 4 more games, and I think they play FC Cincinnati. So maybe Pat and Jim will let them stream it. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see at least one preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk some tailgates news. So the I don't know if we saw it this week. The Sons of Ben are moving. In fact, yeah, I saw
Yeah,
some
they were
pictures.
moving. Yeah,
They're moving into our new
yeah. I'm excited
location
to
for the
see. Yeah, I'm
tailgates.
excited to see that.
So that kind of brought me up to the question: what was your favorite tailgate moment in the old lot?
Oh gosh. Probably. Well, I thought it was pretty cool when Kevin Durant came.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
that's
And
on.
and that the funny thing was that was like wasn't that our first tailgate as actual Sons of Ben members?
It could
It
have
was
been.
or I don't know.
I
It
just
was
remember we left vacation because it was like tailgate with the owners, and we were like, "Oh, let's go."
yeah,
That
that
was
was pretty
fun.
cool because yeah, I mean we're a little bit newer to that. But that was pretty fun. Honestly, like the playoff ones, just okay, the one before Eastern Conference final,
The one
like
where everybody was like expecting Don Garber to give oh, we're sorry, and he basically gave like the most like just totally like skipped all the questions and like went this
yeah,
long spiel, which he's not gonna do
yeah,
that, but and everybody's like what? But I give him credit for like coming out and
yeah,
like when we're all like, why is this game happening with 10 play,
yeah.
11 players missing,
We
what's going on,
we were all so hyped that and of course down about the whole COVID thing too.
But I
But
will
this year's too, like this past season, I should say, not wasn't this year anymore. But yeah, most recently, I mean that Eastern Conference final, I just remember like that. The
it was
crowd, it
it
was
was
packed,
packed
and
early.
everybody was having a good time. That's
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. We were, yeah,
I mean,
we're
that
having a good
one
time.
was good. Yeah, Durant one was good. I there was just some that I think the cool thing for that was we showed up, you talked to some people you hadn't
Hmm.
seen like maybe since
Yeah,
last week, talk about the union,
yeah,
and it just goes back to, why, even if you're not a Sons of Ben member, everybody's welcome.
yeah,
You should definitely go to the tailgate. They're awesome. And it's a great way to meet other Union fans. I
yeah,
mean, you go there, you meet people, you
yeah.
make
We've met
connections.
all kinds of people.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, yeah, and I can't wait for this first game
yeah,
because it's going to be so much fun.
yeah.
I
I
Go
am
ahead.
gonna miss the day games
All
because
right,
yeah,
but the night,
remember us freezing our butts off at the first game last season?
yes,
Oh my gosh. Now
it's
prepare for
gonna.
that in a few weeks.
Yeah, hopefully it's
Well,
warm.
who knows? Because the way the winter's been going.
True.
With our luck, though, it'll be like freezing and snowy or something when it's been a weak winter.
I think one of the things for me is as I liked that it was right there on the river.
I liked that it was at
As
the
on the
river. That
river.
was
I
cool.
always thought that was cool. I like that you could see people like walking to the game because you could
Right.
tell, is this going to be a big game? Because if it was like a middle of summer weekday, you'd see a couple people trickling in, and then you see a couple more, and then there'd be line. But if it was like a weeknight prime time, like cup game, there'd just be like straight. So you knew as the place is going to be rocking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had boat watching.
Oh yeah, the boat watching.
And
Boats
then
mean goals.
and then occasionally you'd see players out on the pitch training that maybe were injured or some
Mm-hmm.
academy stuff. So that was always cool to see. And then the marches always felt sometimes were a little bit more epic. Although I
Well,
will
yeah.
say, with where we're at the new location, I think the marches, because there's all those lots right in there, you're gonna see
Yeah.
some. So
I feel like with being near, the B and C lots of, you pick up people,
yeah,
but
I think
we'll see how it goes in the new.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see this all. I think it's gonna be cool. So um and then hopefully we also get New Jersey announcements.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
So we've seen some leaks so far. Did you see any of the leaks that you liked? Have you seen? Do you like?
Um, eh,
I like Nashville's.
I didn't see that.
Nashville's is pretty sharp. I don't know why it's John
Yeah,
Cash one all black. And I don't
yeah.
know why I like that.
who is it? Red Bulls that I was
Yeah,
like, ew.
yeah, that
I
was.
no sir, I don't like it.
I
But I
mean,
don't like them anyway, so
we'll
what
see.
can I say?
I'll see. But oh, and we did have a question this week.
Oh,
Before we get out of here, one of the listeners asked, I don't know if people listen, but um, it's always soccer in it's always soccer in
yeah.
Philadelphia. And Free Kick had a two-part episode this week, so
Yep, yep.
which
I
was
listened to it.
excellent. So
Mm-hmm.
if you love Kevin's podcast, if you love Todd's podcast, go listen to it. It's a great two-part
Yep.
conversation. But they wanted to know, was that the best podcast collab ever?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, between Kevin Kincaid and Todd, great conversation.
Yeah, I mean it was. I could think of one other one, but
I know.
we won't talk about that
Oh
one.
yeah.
I could think of something even better collab, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Anyway, no, it's so gang. If you haven't listened to that two-part, go check it out. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy Todd's doing had some really good episodes
Mm-hmm.
as of late. So, but anyway, we thank you for
Yes.
tuning in today, and we got a couple interviews coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll get Jeff in though. I don't know.
Hmm.
Jeff, if you're listening, I'm sorry. We're trying to get you in. We just got some other people lined up. So, the one team we agree on, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you next time.
Go Birds.